Well, good morning. I'm sitting outside and it's raining. That's the noise. And it kind of matches the way that I woke up this morning. Every morning I get up and I've been purposefully and consciously saying thank you for all the good things that I had. And I did that this morning too. But some mornings it's really hard to pull myself up. Some mornings it's just, I think that this twin flame journey, it's like it pulls at you from every direction. If it's a healing process, and as we heal we have to go through our weaknesses. And this morning I woke up kind of I want to articulate and be honest about it, and feeling just like the physical world is overwhelming to me. I'm feeling like I understand that I create my own reality, and that this isn't the reality that I want for me, but I understand that I'm creating it because I believe that this is what I am capable of, maybe, or I don't know. But I'm learning to follow my intuitions, and I have a lot going for me. I'm not saying I do have a lot going for me. But sometimes I feel like I just don't know where to put myself. And the pain of this journey is just like it's always there. It's constant. Not the pain, the journey itself. So it's either the highs or the lows or the or whatever. It's always there. It's like it's like the main thing in your life. Everything else fits in the side. And up until now, I've pretty much been like beating myself up over that. Like, what's wrong with you? Get your head out of it. Just focus on your life. Feeling like. But now I'm just kind of surrendering into it, and I'm understanding that it's bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us. We're on this journey for a reason. And when you're divinely being called to do something in your 3D, you can't fight against it. You have to be doing it. Otherwise, you're just in pain because you're not fulfilling your agreement. Your agreement with God, or whatever God has put you here to do. And so it's like every time I get into my head and I start getting into, oh no, what are you going to do? You need to make a living. That mindset, the old world mindset. I start getting like this. I start getting so frazzled that I feel like almost like I can't do anything. And I have like this empty, like, ball inside of me. It feels like empty. Which, feeling that empty feeling is not something that I grew up with. It's something that came to me in recent years. And it's such a contrast between the feeling of I belong and I'm part of, and the feeling that I'm connected with God. You see, and this twin flame journey, I feel like it's kind of about that. It's about our connection with God. Because well, God, you don't have to call it God. You can call it whatever. You can call it the divine, the source, um, the all, the universe, nature, whatever you want to call it. We're part of it. And when we are connected with it and understand that everything is at ease and everything is in the flow and there is no absence, because everything that is, it's when you get in, when we get into the ego mind and feel like we're a part of everything and we have to do something in order to exist here, or in order to be worthy enough to exist here, that's when the empty starts coming in. It's when you're disconnected. Okay, that's something good to remember. That the empty comes in when you feel like you're disconnected from the all. We're never disconnected. The only time that we're disconnected is when we leave our body, and then we're connected eternally. Our body gets disconnected. That's all. We're always connected. And our body doesn't even really get disconnected, because it just kind of goes back into the all too. It has its own life in it. See, I'm talking and making myself feel better. This is all before meditation. I had a little bit of a hard time getting out of bed this morning. Feeling kind of like a little bit of like a dread, like what do I have to get up and go through another day. And what I really want is to get up every morning excited about my life, which I do many mornings. Most mornings, actually, I get out of bed excited about, okay, what's going on in my life today. But today's one of those days. And I'm on this journey too. This is a journey of awakening, and I feel like, and I guess for an awakening you have to go through all your weaknesses and sort them out in order to overcome them. So this is me emerged in my weaknesses. I'm still grateful for being on this path, and I'm grateful for my twin flame, and I feel just totally blessed with my parents and my children. And my son got up this morning and said it's too cold to go to school and asked if he could stay home, and he's a teenager, and I think that he just kind of wanted to stay with me because we haven't seen each other in a few days. He was at his father's, so I felt like that's really fun. I'm happy about that. It's a rainy day, so we get to be inside together and spend some quality time, so I'm grateful for that. I feel like I am a witness to this journey, and these videos that I'm doing give me a lot of like quiet inside, because I'm talking the things through. You know, there's nobody in my immediate surroundings, like in my immediate friend circle that is right here, that can even understand what I'm going through, or that I can speak with about this without feeling like they're, because they don't get it. They're so far in the 3D, and they think I'm going off into la la land, or that's what they call it. Or I'm not being realistic. Realistic means you have to work hard and get up in the morning and slave your butt off so that you can exist. And they just can't connect or understand what I'm going through with spiritual awakening, and or understand the concepts completely. I did meet a new friend that lives not too far, that contacted me through YouTube after she saw some of my videos, and she's going through the same thing. So we made a friend connection, which is nice to have somebody that knows what I'm going through, and she's been in the process quite a bit longer, so she has quite a bit of insight and information, and just being able to share, or to know that there's somebody that knows what I'm going through. And I get so emotional It's a nice feeling. It's a feeling of like belonging. There's other people that know. And I guess that's kind of also something good about doing these videos, is that whoever watches these videos is also going through similar things and understands. And I feel like I'm a witness. At the same time that I'm going through it, I'm also witnessing it. And making these videos allows me to record the process, because it's a process, it's a journey. We keep on calling it, we call it a journey, and that's just like the word that suits it the most, because it's like this soul journey back to itself. And I feel like I'm witnessing it as I'm going through it and recording what I'm going through, and through that I'm witnessing it for other people as well. Again, putting another side to it, which is my experience. So I've been going to sleep and taking a pad of paper and a pen with me to write down my dreams or whatever comes up in the night. And every night I wake up in the middle of the night with things that I have to write down. So there was a couple of things, and it usually has to do with this journey. So I'm gonna read over what I wrote. Okay, so I wrote, "It's all because I didn't know my worth." I guess I was thinking about how I allowed things to happen in my life that I wasn't okay with. Let's say like my marriage. I stayed far too many years in a marriage that wasn't right for me because of weakness and fear to leave. I didn't think that I could make it on my own. I didn't think that I was afraid of having to make a living. I was afraid of not having a support system there, afraid of making decisions for myself until at one point I just couldn't do it anymore, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It couldn't get worse than it was. And that was at a point where we had, like, materialistically, we had gotten to a point where we had quite a bit materialistically, and it was empty. It was like, I was the most miserable I had ever been. And at some point your soul just says, no more, you can't do it anymore, you just can't do it anymore. And then it's like jumping off this cliff. It's like, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm gonna do, but this isn't working, and I'm taking my life back. And then you completely emerge into this new decision. And I'm happy about the decision. And I have 4 wonderful kids from that marriage. Okay, and the next one I have is let go and flow into the new world. So that's something I've been getting it's just been coming at me from every direction. It's just to be yourself, come into your natural state. And that is where I am meant to be, without all of these little add-ons. It's like downloads from the Matrix, all of these, how you're supposed to be. And all these beliefs of you're supposed to be this and you're supposed to be that, and you're supposed to act like this, and when somebody does this, you're supposed to answer like this. All of these false beliefs that have come from outside of me, from the consensus. It's like shedding all of that, and in every situation asking myself, wait a minute. And it's also, we're so far on automatic, and I'm realizing with myself, so far on automatic that you pull out answers before you even think about them. And when you start becoming aware, then you start questioning everything that you say, because you want to be your most honest self. So you want to be authentic. That's the word. And you want to be authentic with yourself. So like, for instance, doing a video where I'm all over the place, and not just putting up the videos where I'm all happy and high and, oh, everything's wonderful. No, this journey is like, it's like, I don't know. it takes everything that you have to be on this journey. You have to be strong. You have to be strong. You have to be able to take situations and turn them around. It's like I keep coming back to the word alchemizing, and the bird is chirping for me. It's like you take this where you're the most miserable that you can be, and you say, okay, what is the opposite of this? So let's say if I am, and that's pretty much like standing up and taking your responsibility in your life, or it's like anything, it's like black and white. So if you are feeling bad about, I'm going to use my own self as an example. If I'm feeling bad about that, that I'm not making a good enough living and my surroundings, then the feeling bad about it is just me yearning for the opposite of it. So if I'm able to recognize exactly what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it, I'm able to reach for its opposite, because we don't want to sit in the negative feelings or in the places. And also, it's like standing up and taking responsibility. It's instead of being in the weakness of it, which is, oh, I'm so poor, I'm like this, I'm like that, and making all sorts of excuses of why. Excuses, you can't take excuses to the supermarket. You can't take excuses to yourself. You know, what are you going to do? Like, oh, I'm miserable, but there's a good reason for it. What does that help anything? It doesn't help you out of your misery. So if you can take that and say, okay, I'm miserable because of this and this and this, and the misery is actually my own soul calling me to do something about it, to stand up and take responsibility about it, to make a change. See, then comes the decision making. How do you make the change? Now, that's a different story. But the first thing is to recognize what it is that is the change that you want to be made. And the answer is in the misery, because you're miserable over something. Instead of making all the excuses to yourself, like, oh, I'm staying in the marriage because of this and this and that, and I'm staying in the marriage because I feel indebted to it, or, get over all that. Those are excuses that you make to yourself to stay there. And then once you can stand up and take responsibility for it, and I'm talking about I'm still in this little loops, right? I'm still in the process of bringing myself to be fully self-reliable and dependent, and that is part of this process, because part of the enlightenment process is also in this 3D world. It's not just up in the higher realms, like, oh, I'm so enlightened, let me think about this some more, and think about it some more, and think about it some more, and think about. At some point, you have to bring it into your life too, into your physical life. And that takes a lot of courage to make changes. What I'm actually happy for is that I don't have a lot to lose. I don't have a lot to lose, I see. And I have a lot to gain. So about the alchemizing, I don't feel like I beat that bush enough. It's like taking your sorrow and turning it into joy. And then once you do stand up and take responsibility, like let's say when I left my husband, after I left him, it was like so empowering. It was the thing that I feared the most. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I couldn't do it. How was I going to take care of myself? But what was, and I didn't even know myself. I got married at such a young age. I got married when I was 20. And I had, when I left my husband, I was 37. So that's like half of my life. I didn't even know who I was by myself. I had never done it by myself. And I was surprised at how much I learned about myself during that process. You don't realize when you become dependent on something or someone, or even a thought. It doesn't even have to be someone. You become dependent on a way of thinking or a reaction or an addiction. In this process, I've like shed so many addictions, tobacco, weed, alcohol, um, lots of dependencies. And when you stand in your power and you take your power back, you feel so empowered and you feel powerful. And you feel like this sense of, I can do anything. See, this is me alchemizing my morning wake up cry fest into a more powerful mode. And that's how you do it. You just slowly talk it through in your mind or talk it through, and you come into a different place. What else did I write here? What will be, will be. And that's kind of letting go and just allowing the flow. It's not a cop out, like what will be, will be. Okay, I lift my hands up. No, it's like embracing. It's embracing what will come, will come. And because this journey is, it's just like always changing. It's everything. One day, what you think one day, the next day is completely different. You just keep going up and up and up and up and up. And just follow your intuitions. When something doesn't feel right, get out of there. Get into a different, but check it. Make sure that it's not fear-based. Because a lot of times our fear takes over and it controls our intuitions. We have to really be careful of that and really pay attention to whether it's fear that's stopping us from doing what we want to do or where we want to go on our path, or whether we really do feel like in that place that's not exactly in sync with who we are. It's a matter of paying attention. Okay. And then I have this new world is like zoom out all the way and look in. Okay, yeah. So I've been having this thought. It's like you zoom all the way out and you look into the universe from the top. And I get that all the time because now that I'm living in purposefully in appreciation for what is, you start noticing everything that is, and you start looking at it from a different perspective. So say I look at the clementina trees, and all of a sudden I see like this beautiful clementina tree grew up and it's bringing out its fruit and it's like presenting them to the world. And you get into a different mindset. It's like you're sitting up here looking in, and you can sit up here and look into your life too, but you can't live your life up here. You have to have the ability. It's like the paradox thing. You have to have the ability to do the zoom out and look in, disconnected. Look into your life and see what's going on in there, detached from emotion, to be able to like maneuver your life to the direction that you want to take it in. But then you also have to come back down into the 3D and actually live it out. So it's a matter of like being in your life, living it, getting into the grunge of it and the grime of it, and being able to experience it completely, with the sorrow, with the pain, with the happy, with everything that it entails. Because that's your contrast. That's your your contrasts are your system of guidance. So no, not this way. This way has sorrow. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. And you keep on guiding your life to that higher plane, and you guide your soul back to itself through your emotions and the things that you go through and the experiences that you have. And every experience that you have is is like a point in which you can learn where to take your next experience to. So if you have an experience that feels really bad, it's like an opportunity not to get into that kind of experience again. It's like, I'm not going to do that again. Okay, I learned my lesson. I'm going to forget those experiences. I want these experiences. And then you just like take your life off onto the path that you really want. And what's lovely about it is that usually when you get into these experiences that you don't like, or situations that you don't like, first of all, you know that it's of your own being. You did it. You're responsible for it. You're creating your own freaking reality, dude, by allowing things like that into your life. And what's wonderful about it is that, these places that we allow these things into our lives, they are errors in thought, places that we are in error. And life will just keep on bringing you back the same situations, because this error keeps on going. It's a thought that you continuously have. So if you're continuously having the error, it's going to continuously bring you into situations that give you the opportunity to see them and to change them. So what's lovely about this life is you're always going to have more opportunities. If you missed an opportunity and you took the lesson, you're going to get another opportunity, another opportunity, another opportunity to make the change until you make the change. And sometimes we see it and then we fall in the same pit hole. We see it and we fall in the same pit hole. And we do it a few times until we start recognizing it before we fall into the pit hole. And that's where the change comes in. You're like, oh, wait, no, I'm not going to take that route. I'm going this way. And that's where we take the change. And a lot of times it's, when I start realizing these things, it's way more simple than I thought. The opportunities are way more obvious than at first you think they are. They start standing out to you when you get in tune with yourself, and you get in tune with your intuitions, and in tune with your feelings and your higher self. The places that are out of tune with you start becoming like popping out. They start becoming like really obvious to you. And not only obvious, if you're stuck in a situation that you don't like, like your life situation, your living situation, where you are, the home that you're in, the partner that you're with, any of these things, if they start becoming, when you start coming into your higher self and into your true nature, if you're in this living situation that is not vibrationally in tune with you, it causes you a lot of misery, and it starts really like weighing on you, and because it's out of tune with you. See, and then there's the passing over point, like, okay, but how do I go from here to there? And that's a question that I'm still asking with myself, and I'm coming to, and I keep on getting, it's a leap of faith. It's jump into the new world, jump into the life that you want, just on a whim. Just jump and trust that the universe and that you will be guided as you jump. You'll be guided, and the opportunities will open up for you, because you are in this new vibration of the new world. And once you're in that new vibration, the old world doesn't work for you. You can't stay in the old world. You must go into the new world. So it's like taking a leap of faith. And then there comes in the fear. So then there comes in this fear, and it's like, ooh, and it comes up, and that's where we get all tripped up. It's the leap of faith. And this leap of faith is also with the twin flame. This has to do with the whole thing I'm talking about has to do with this twin flame path. It's part of this journey, is taking this leap of faith into yourself. See, it's not about getting your twin and because what would that look like if you're taking your weak self with you? It would just be it can't happen anyway. It can't happen, because as long as you are not in your pure self, you continue to clash and go around in these circles. So you have to bring yourself, your higher self. And in order to bring your higher self, you have to take a leap of faith from your old self to your new self. So it's like from the old world to the new world, from your old way of being and thinking to your new way of thinking, being and thinking. So it's like a leap of faith. And I think that I'm going to end this video on that high note. I'm going to go meditate. I feel much better. And it's funny because during the video, it's a half an hour video. During this video, you can see the whole process of how I started and how I ended. And I'm on a high note. So I'm wishing you lots and lots and lots of love on your journey, and sending you lots of strength, And we're in this together. We're all in this together. We're entering into this new world. So we're bringing each other with each other. Okay.